For the first time in nearly 2 calendar years, the Warriors have lost back-to-back regular season games. In their first time out since Kevin Durant went down with a sprained MCL, the Warriors couldn't find the range last night in Chicago. They shot under 39%, scored a season-low 87 points, including just 14 in the fourth quarter in a loss in Chicago. Steph Curry was 10 of 27, 2 of 11 from threes, just 4 of 31 from three-point range his last 4 games. Third stop on this circuitous 8-game stretch, which is not exactly a road trip because it includes a home game wedged in between stops in Atlanta and Minneapolis. Ouch. Next up, the Dubs will do Broadway against the Knicks on Sunday. And guys, when you think about what happened last night, obviously you take away Kevin Durant, who was leading the team in scoring, rebounding, blocks, a former MVP, you remove him from the lineup, things change a little bit. How much of an adjustment period do you think there will be?
It'll take some time. You know, you can't remove him from the equation, a guy who, as great as the team was last year, and obviously Steph Curry having his second MVP year last year, I think Kevin came in and really established himself as the guy, the go-to guy, and had done so much for that team, able to get his own shot, another dimension. And then maybe psychology, losing your guy. I mean, you don't know what kind of effect that can have. Obviously, this is a mentally strong group of players, but it takes a minute. It takes a minute. I don't think it's doom and gloom. I don't think it's the end of the world. Now, if he doesn't come back in the postseason, I think it'll be difficult for them to win.
Right.
But I think they can sustain and maintain a high level of play and even maintain the #1 seed throughout the rest of the regular season. But it's just going to take a minute for everyone's roles to adapt and adjust, maybe incorporating the big guys a little bit more, Zaza Pachulia, McGee, Zaza. They weren't playing as much, preferring a smaller lineup when Durant was in there. So I expect them to bounce back, but maybe a couple of more games before they figure it out.
Potential silver lining, because we've been wondering about the bench, which they had to gut basically to accommodate Durant's signing last summer. The silver lining approach would be that the bench develops a little more over the next couple of months or however long it's going to be until Durant comes back.
Yeah, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. I don't think so with the Golden State Warriors, but as Grant mentioned, it'll take an adjustment period. To me, the bench will have to step up. Don't know who that's going to be, but offensively from the starters, it may mean that Steph has to take on more of a playmaking role. We all know that when Durant came, there was some level of sacrifice by everyone on the basketball team. Perhaps it's Steph more in pick-and-roll situations, curl situations, into the lane, making plays for other people, along with Draymond Green, that is a way that they help supplement the loss, aside from the fact that someone on the bench is going to insert himself into the rotation and play well.
If you're Steve Kerr and you're approaching the next few weeks, however long it lasts, not really knowing for certain, 4 weeks plus until Durant is reevaluated, what are your immediate goals? What are you trying to get done here over the next few weeks? Obviously, you've already clinched a playoff spot. I don't know how concerned they are about seeding. They're not likely to drop below 2, for instance, but I don't know if that's a concern or if they just want to play better and make the adjustment. I don't know. How would you go at it?
I think it has to be a concern because one of the big factors in getting on the way to the finals is you want to make sure you have the easiest road possible, not necessarily in teams, but in terms of rest. So if you drop to the second spot behind San Antonio, and now all of a sudden you're faced with that prospect of having to face Houston, that's going to be a very difficult series on the way to the Western Conference Championship. And if I'm Steve Kerr, I want to avoid that as much as possible. Listen, this league does not feel sorry for anyone. He's got to, put the foot to the metal and keep on pressing and hopefully maintain that top spot because it'll provide a little bit easier road for them potentially on the way to the Western Conference Finals.
So it's not much a home court Game 7 situation as is a matchup situation for you.
It is. Even if they have home court, Houston, the way that they're playing this year, that's going to be a very difficult series. And if you have to win that to then go and face the Spurs, to me, that would give the Spurs a little bit of a leg up.
No, I mean, I agree. I think, ultimately Steve Kerr is going to have to emphasize it's a collective effort. It's not obviously Steph Curry at times last year carried the team, but I don't know if that's the right approach because the team that's around him is a bit different.
Right.
So he's going to try to really emphasize the bench, some of the role players who start, not to feel like you're going to do it yourself, but really trust each other, ball movement, player movement, get better on the defensive end. And it may, I mean, if Durant can come back healthy and come back the player he was, which I believe he can, this may actually strengthen them as a core unit, particularly if they go deep into the playoffs and go for a championship.
That's the other uncertainty for Steve Kerr moving forward is you don't really know that for certain because that's unknowable at this point. So just to wrap up, should they fold the franchise in light of this 2-game losing streak, or should they continue on?
I think they should continue. I think they'll be all right.
I think they should move to San Francisco. Oh, wait, they're already doing
They're
that?
going to do that anyway.